What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I get my 10,000 steps in right now. Shout out to you guys, my subscribers. Thank you for joining me on the road to 5,000. Walking around here in the district area of Detroit, inching forward towards downtown. Got to get them 5,000 steps in by the end, you know? So let's jump into our topic at hand, and it's the predictable thing, which is black women blaming black men for why Kamala lost. Now, I mean, we definitely had an impact, but we're far from being the only factor here. But you know what? If they want to blame us for it, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with it. Blame us. We'll take being the victim. It looks like, I don't know, it was somewhere in the 90 percentile range, or maybe a little more, that black women voted for Kamala Harris. And man, that's a crazy stat, because that makes black women by far and large the biggest losers of this election. I mean, y'all got behind Kamala for whatever reason to the degree that you did. And they're also mad at one other group. They're not just mad at us brothers. They're also upset with white women, saying that white women fooled them. They're like, oh, white women claim to be allies and then went to the polls and voted for Trump anyway. Man, I don't know what y'all talking about. What white women claim to be allies with y'all to vote for Kamala, other than the very liberal white women, which, man, listen, liberal white women are the worst. Really, liberal white women are the absolute worst. They typically have this white savior complex. They want to be offended on your behalf. I mean, liberal white women being offended on our behalf is why Uncle Ben is no longer on the rice. It's now Ben's Originals. Liberal white women being offended on our behalf is why Aunt Jemima is no longer on our freaking pancake packaging and our syrup packaging. Though I've heard, not sure how credible it is, that they may be going back to Aunt Jemima, and I really hope that's true. I don't know why. Stop being offended on my behalf, okay? You don't make anything better. You make everything worse. Liberal white women being offended on people's behalf is why the Land O'Lakes girl went away. So removing all these ethnic characters from packaging, I don't understand how that is racial equality. How did you make anything worse? So stay where you at, liberal white women. We don't need your help. We're good. If this is help, we definitely can do without it. But as I was saying, they're upset at white women, claiming that white women were allies, which I think is ridiculous, and that they claim they were on their side and then went to the polls and voted for Trump anyway. Now, I could be a little bit off with this, but the one number that I saw, it may have changed, because, you know, the numbers have continued to tally. But one figure I saw like a day ago was showing that white women voted for Trump like 73% or something like that. So the reason why this doesn't surprise me, and why I think it's amusing that black women find this to be an upsetting thing, what in the world made y'all think that white women were going to vote differently from their husbands? Like, what made you think that? Why would they? I know Michelle Obama told y'all to go out and vote differently from y'all husbands, and that's one of the reasons why I can't really do the Democrat Party, because they encourage you to do things like that are destructive to your family unit. You let a total stranger who don't know you and doesn't care what the fallout of your family is going to be to tell you to go to the polls and vote differently from your husband, and you did it. That is crazy. So don't be mad at white women because they weren't foolish enough to follow that bad advice as well. White women are not going to go to the polls voting differently from their husband. More often than not, especially conservatives, whatever direction that the man is leading in, their woman is going to follow. You have exceptions, but these are usually liberal white women. And the proof is in the pudding. If you look at the numbers of how white women voted, they're not going to go to the polls and vote against what their men are doing. This is something that by and large black women do, and it doesn't work. You know, in no category, when black women go against black men, are they better for it? Literally no category. And this is no different. So they're upset that black men went and voted one way and they went and voted another. Well, you shouldn't have been out of order anyway. You shouldn't have been voting a different way anyway. Refusing to get in line and following the men is one of the worst things about this whole feminism thing. Because as I told y'all before, feminism affected the black community worse than any other group. We have all these very loud, aggressive, brash, feminist black women. And many of them are still pushing the narrative that Kamala is black when we know she ain't. And no, that car behind me wasn't honking at me. It wasn't that car. I know it looked like it in the video. But yeah, many of them are still trying to push the narrative that Kamala is black when that's been blown up, okay? And that was blown up by a black woman. But of course they're trying to use that as why they're losing their shit. Y'all hate black women so much. Y'all hate black women so much. No, we don't hate black women so much. Y'all say over and over and over, we came from a black woman, we got black sisters, we got black aunties. So how do we hate black women? That makes no sense. When the most important black women in our lives are this close to us, it makes no sense. Cope harder, cope better. But I guess when you have no real legitimate argument, you make arguments that are silly. You make emotional arguments, because emotional arguments typically, they're irrational, and you could tell they're not coming from a place of information, they're coming from feelings. So to claim that black men went out and voted the way that they did because we hate black women is just absurd. You know, I could make the counter argument that y'all hate black men because you have such hostility when it comes to black men leading, and you refuse to fall in line. You think that black men are supposed to, for whatever reason, fall behind you and do where you go, which is not the natural order of things, never has been. So based on your own logic, I could just say you hate black men. Oh, well, that's ridiculous. About as ridiculous as y'all claim of us voting the way we wanted to because we hate black women, right? So I'm gonna leave it there. I appreciate you guys connecting with me while I do my walk. I'm gonna continue this on. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.